Mason Reed didn't know that rainy morning would change everything. He didn't know that the woman with her high heel stuck in the mud, trying to get an old motorcycle running next to a car that cost more than his entire farm, was the heiress to a business empire. He didn't know she was running from an arranged engagement. He just saw someone who needed help, and he went to help. Mason was 30 years old, with broad shoulders and calloused hands. He lived alone on the farm his father had left him, tending cattle and growing vegetables. He'd been a financial analyst in Kansas City, wearing Italian suits, frequenting upscale restaurants, until the day he realized he was rich in money and poor in life. He quit it all, returned to the country. The rain fell lightly that morning as he drank black coffee on the porch. That's when he heard the noise. Engines sputtering. A woman's voice cursing. It was coming from the neighboring property, that abandoned land since old Otis had died. Mason put on his raincoat and crossed the fence. When he got near the old house, he stopped. The scene didn't make sense. A black BMW was parked in front of the porch. Next to it, an old motorcycle, a rusty red Yamaha, and between the two vehicles, a woman. She wore a beige dress pantsuit smeared with mud, a white silk blouse clinging to her body from the rain, and a thin high heel sinking into the ground. Her dark hair dripped water. She held the motorcycle key in one hand and wiped her face with the other, leaving grease on her forehead. "Damn it!" she shouted, kicking the tire. The heel sank deeper. Mason couldn't hold back a laugh. She whipped her head around. Her brown eyes widened at the sight of a man standing there smiling. "You think that's funny?" "A little," Mason admitted. "High heels and wet dirt don't mix." She looked down at her own foot and let out a humorless laugh. "Yeah, I noticed." Mason stopped 2 meters from her. The motorcycle, the car, the expensive clothes ruined. "You the new owner?" "I am," she replied, trying to pull her foot from the mud and nearly losing her balance. Mason took a step forward, but she raised her hand. "I got it." She kicked off both shoes and tossed them aside. She stood barefoot. She sighed deeply. "Lauren," she said, extending her hand. "Lauren Hayes." Mason Reed. He shook it. Her hand was soft, but the grip had strength. "I live on the other side of the fence." "The neighbor," she said. Then she looked at the motorcycle. "You know how to fix this?" Mason crouched down, ran his hand over the handlebars, checked the tank. "Depends on what's wrong. It won't start." "Got gas?" Lauren blinked. "You need gas?" Mason looked at her, realizing it wasn't a joke. "Yeah," he confirmed. "The problem's probably something else." He took the key, turned it, heard the engine cough and die. Flooded carburetor. "This bike's gotta be 30 years old. How long had it been sitting?" "I don't know. I found it inside here." "And you wanted to just ride off on it?" "I wanted to see if it worked." "Why?" Lauren crossed her arms, wet, barefoot, with a look like she wasn't going to answer. Mason didn't push. He stood up. "I can take a better look, but I need tools. I can bring mine." "How much do you charge?" "Nothing." She frowned. "Why?" "Because we're neighbors." Lauren stared, trying to figure out if he was sincere. "Okay. I accept. I'll be back in a bit." He turned to go, but she said, "Mason." He stopped. "Thanks." He waved and left. Lauren stood there, barefoot in the rain, watching the man disappear among the trees. Something about him had thrown her off. The calm, maybe. She went into the old house. It smelled musty, furniture covered with dusty sheets. Lauren walked to the bedroom where she'd left her suitcase closed. She sat on the bed, took out her phone. 17 missed calls. 12 messages, all from Harrison. She turned off the phone without reading any. On the other side of the fence, Mason gathered his tools. Screwdriver, pliers, oil, spare spark plug. As he organized everything, he thought about the woman. Lauren, big city accent, expensive clothes, imported car, but with eyes like she was running from something. He knew that look. Mason returned half an hour later. Lauren had changed clothes. Jeans, white t-shirt, still barefoot. Her hair loose and drying. She waited, sitting on the porch. "I thought you weren't coming back." "I said I would." "Yeah, but people say a lot of things." Mason set the toolbox on the ground. "I'm not people." Lauren watched as he worked. Mason disassembled the carburetor, cleaned the spark plugs, adjusted the wires. He didn't talk. Total concentration. His hands moved with certainty. Where'd you learn? From my dad. He have a shop? No. He just didn't like depending on others. Silence. Just the sound of metal tools, rain on the roof. And you? Mason asked without looking up. Where you from? Chicago. The city? Yeah. And you came all the way out here just to fix an old motorcycle? Lauren hesitated. I came to see the place. You staying? I don't know yet. Mason tightened the last bolt, reassembled everything, wiped his hands. He stood, took the key, turned it. The motorcycle coughed, stuttered, died. He tried again, coughed, stuttered, caught. The engine rumbled low, uneven, but running. Mason revved it lightly until the rumble steadied. He turned it off. Done, but don't push it hard. This bike's old. Lauren stepped down from the porch, ran her hand over the handlebars like touching something fragile. How long did it take you? About 40 minutes. And you don't want anything in return? I already said no. Why? Because I don't need to. Lauren stood still, looking at him. Distrust mixed with curiosity. You eat lunch? Mason blinked. Lunch. Want to have lunch here? You gonna cook? I don't know how to cook. Then how am I supposed to have lunch here? Lauren gave a crooked smile. Good question. Mason chuckled softly. I've got food at my place. If you want, you can come over. Lauren hesitated. She looked at the old house, at the BMW, at the turned-off phone. I can. And that's how Lauren Hayes, heiress to an 8-figure fortune, fiancée to one of Chicago's most influential businessmen, crossed the wet fence of a forgotten farm in rural Kansas to have fried eggs, bacon, and potatoes in the home of a man she'd just met. She didn't know it yet, but that would be the first of many lunches. And Mason didn't know that the woman walking behind him, barefoot and muddy, owned more money than he'd see in a lifetime. Mason's house was simple. 2 bedrooms, kitchen with a wood stove, wooden porch that creaked. It smelled of coffee and wet earth. Lauren entered slowly, taking it all in. The cast iron pots hanging, the solid wood table, the muddy boots by the door. Sit, Mason said, pointing to the table. She sat. He lit the fire, warmed the food. It didn't take long. He served 2 plates, scrambled eggs, bacon crisped with onions, fried potatoes golden and soft inside. Simple. Lauren picked up the fork. The last time she'd eaten something like this must have been in childhood. At her grandma's place in rural Illinois, she tasted it. The eggs were perfect. The bacon, just right. The potatoes, real flavor. It's good, she said, and it wasn't a lie. Mason ate in silence. Lauren did too. The rain continued outside, tapping on the tin roof in a steady rhythm that seemed to calm everything. You live alone? Lauren asked. I do. Always been that way? My parents died 3 years ago. Car accident on the highway. I'm sorry. Mason waved it off like he'd made peace with the loss. And you? He asked. Got family in Chicago? Lauren took a while to answer. Yeah. Mom? Dad? A younger brother? They know you're here? No. Mason didn't ask anything else. And Lauren liked that. Liked not having to explain. Liked eating eggs and bacon in a kitchen that smelled of wood smoke. Liked the silence that demanded nothing from her. When they finished, she helped wash the dishes. Her hands, used to French manicures and imported lotions, plunged into soapy water with dish soap. Mason dried with a worn dish towel. Thanks for lunch, Lauren said when they were done. You're welcome. She went to the door, slipped on the borrowed boots Mason had offered. They were too big, but they worked. Mason? Yeah. If I need help again, can I call on you? He looked at her. Lauren's brown eyes met his. There was a vulnerability there she didn't try to hide. You can, he said. Lauren nodded and left, crossing back through the rain to the old house on the other side of the fence. Mason stayed on the porch, watching her go. And for the first time in 3 years, he felt something he hadn't since returning to the farm. Curiosity about someone other than himself. Lauren woke the next day with her body aching. She wasn't used to a hard bed, thin mattress, pillow that sank wrong. She looked at the wooden ceiling stained with dampness and thought about going back. Taking the car, driving to Chicago, taking a hot shower in her apartment with the jacuzzi tub. But she didn't. She got up, put on the same jeans from the day before, tied back her hair and went barefoot to the porch. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky orange and pink. The smell of wet earth rose from the ground. Birds sang loudly. It was all so different from Chicago's noise that it felt like another planet. Lauren saw Mason on the other side of the fence. He carried a bucket, walking toward the barn. He wore faded jeans, a worn gray t-shirt, and scuffed leather boots. His broad shoulders moved with the weight of the bucket, but he seemed not to feel it. She watched him. She didn't know why. Mason stopped, felt the gaze, turned his head, waved from afar. Lauren waved back. He kept walking. She went inside, picked up the phone she'd left off. Dozens of notifications exploded on the screen. Harrison, her mom, her dad, Harrison again, the assistant, Harrison 3 more times. Lauren read only one message, the last from Harrison. "You're being childish. Come back before this turns into a scandal." She blocked the number. The first days were strange. Lauren didn't know how to do anything. She didn't know how to light the wood stove. She didn't know how to cook rice that didn't stick. She didn't know how to wash clothes without a machine. She didn't know anything useful there. Mason showed up on the 3rd day, knocked on the wooden door with his knuckles. "Came to see if everything's okay," he said when Lauren opened. "It's fine," she lied. Mason looked over her shoulder, saw the kitchen, pot on the fire, smoke rising, smell of burning. "Can I come in?" Lauren sighed. "Yeah." He entered, went straight to the kitchen, turned off the fire. The rice at the bottom of the pot was black and stuck. Mason said nothing. He just took the pot to the sink, filled it with water. "Let it soak," he said. "It'll come off in a bit." Lauren crossed her arms, embarrassed. "I don't know how to do any of this. Nobody's born knowing. Everyone learns as a kid. You didn't learn, but you can now." He looked at her. Lauren looked back. There was something gentle in that gaze that completely disarmed her. "Will you teach me?" she asked, her voice more vulnerable than intended. "I'll teach you." And he did. Mason started showing up every day, early morning before tending his own cattle. He brought dry firewood, taught her to light the fire without using all the newspaper, showed her how to cook beans, how to season meat, how to make coffee in a cloth drip. Lauren paid attention to everything, mentally noted every detail. "You have to feel when it's done," Mason would say, stirring the beans on the fire. "It's not about exact time. It's when it's soft, but not mushy." "How do I feel that?" "You take a bean and squeeze it between your fingers. If it mashes easily, it's ready." Lauren took a bean, squeezed. "It mashed." She smiled. "Got it. See? Not hard. Just pay attention." The days started to find a rhythm. Lauren woke early, lit the fire, made coffee. Sometimes Mason arrived, sometimes not. When he did, they sat on the porch talking while sipping the first cup of the day. It was in those conversations that Lauren learned who Mason had been. A financial analyst, degree in economics, worked at a big bank in Kansas City, made good money. Really good. "Why'd you quit?" she asked. Mason stared at the horizon, the mug steaming in his hands. "Because I was dying inside. I woke up every day thinking about how much money I'd make, what promotion I'd get, what car I'd buy. And one day I woke up and realized I couldn't remember the last time I'd felt anything real. Joy, sadness, anger, anything. I was alive but not living. And here you live. Here I breathe," he answered simply. Lauren understood exactly what he meant. She started working too. Mason taught her to tend the garden, showed her how to plant, how to water, how to pull weeds without killing the plants. Lauren got her hands dirty with soil, broke her nails, sweated under the sun. And for the first time in years, she felt like she was building something real. "You plant a seed today. In a few days, it turns into food," Mason explained as he dug holes in the dirt. "No magic, no shortcuts, just work and time. What if I mess up? Mess up. Plant again." Lauren planted lettuce, tomatoes, kale, watered every day, checked if it was growing. When she saw the first green sprout, She felt disproportionate joy. She called Mason to see. "Look, it grew." He smiled. "It did. I did that," she said almost in disbelief. "You did." Lauren crouched there, looking at the little seed that had become life. Hands dirty with soil, hair stuck to her face from sweat, old clothes stained. And she was the happiest woman in the world in that moment. The afternoons were spent together. Mason taught her to mend fences, to recognize when a cow was about to calve, to identify medicinal plants. Lauren learned everything with a hunger for knowledge she didn't know she had. One afternoon, they were fixing the fence that divided the two properties. Mason hammered the nails. Lauren held the board in place. "You never ask why I came here," Lauren said suddenly. Mason stopped hammering, looked at her. "Because I figure when you want to tell me, you will. And if I never want to, then I'll never know. And that doesn't bother you?" "Why would it?" he asked sincerely. "You don't owe me any explanations." Lauren felt her chest tighten. No one had ever given her that space. They always wanted to know, always demanded, always required justifications. "I was engaged," she said quietly, "to a guy my parents picked. Businessman, wealthy family, perfect marriage on paper. But I didn't love him, and he didn't love me. It was a deal. Two last names joining." Mason hammered the last nail, tested the fence. "Solid. And you ran." "I ran," she confirmed. "Told them I was going to a spa. Came here. Does he know where you are?" "No." "And your parents?" "No either." Mason wiped his forehead with his arm. "You'll have to tell them sometime." "I know," Lauren sighed. "But not now. Now I just want to breathe." He looked at her. Lauren looked back. Their eyes met and held there, locked for 3 seconds that felt like much more. "Then breathe," Mason said softly. That night, Lauren lay on the hard bed and realized it didn't hurt anymore. Her body had adjusted. Or maybe she had changed. She closed her eyes and, for the first time in weeks, slept through the night without waking startled. On the other side of the fence, Mason lay down too. But he didn't fall asleep quickly. He stared at the wooden ceiling of his own house, thinking about the city woman who had arrived lost and now planted vegetables with her own hands. He thought about how she smiled when she managed something alone, how she tied her hair with an old bandana, how her eyes lit up when she discovered something new, and he realized he was starting to care. 2 weeks passed. Lauren was no longer the woman with heels stuck in the mud. She wore old boots, jeans torn at the knee, a faded t-shirt she'd found in a closet. Her hair was always in a messy bun. Her nails, once impeccable, were short and dirt-stained, and she'd never felt so beautiful. Mason started having lunch at her place. Lauren cooked now. It wasn't perfect, but it was real food. Beans that didn't stick anymore. Fluffy rice. Fried eggs without burning. "You're learning fast," Mason said, going for seconds. "I've got a good teacher." He smiled. Lauren smiled back. The silence that followed wasn't uncomfortable. It was intimate. It was on a Saturday afternoon that things shifted a bit. They were at the edge of the creek that ran through both properties. Mason had taken Lauren fishing. She'd never fished in her life. "You just cast the line and wait," he explained, handing her the rod. "That's it?" "That's it. Patience is the key." Lauren held the rod, cast the line into the water. They sat on the bank, bare feet touching the cool water. The sun warmed their backs. The creek's flow was constant. "Mason?" "Yeah." "Do you regret it? Quitting everything?" He took a while to answer. Looked at the water, at the bobber floating. "No, not one day." "And you? Regretting running away?" Lauren thought. Thought about the life she'd left. The formal dinners, the designer clothes, the social events. Harrison, who never really asked how she was. "No," she answered. "Not 1 second." Mason turned his face to her. Lauren turned to him. Their eyes met again like that afternoon at the fence. But this time they held longer. 4 seconds. 5. 6. Lauren's heart beat faster. The rod twitched, a strong tug. "You got one!" Mason yelled, jumping to his feet. "Reel it in, slow!" Lauren reeled. The fish fought. The line strained. She didn't know what to do. Mason stood behind her, placed his hands over hers, helping hold the rod. Bring it in easy, he said near her ear, his body against her back, the smell of soap and earth, his breath on her neck. Lauren completely forgot about the fish, but they got it in. A small silver perch, tiny but feisty. Mason took it from her hands, held the fish carefully. Your first fish, he said, grinning wide. Lauren looked at the little thing flopping and felt pity. Can we let it go? You don't want to eat it? I'd rather release it. Mason looked at her, his eyes shining with something like tenderness. Then release it. Lauren took the fish from his hands, slowly, feeling the cool, wet scales. She lowered it to the creek's edge and opened her hands. The fish paused a second like it couldn't believe it. Then it darted away into the water. Thanks, Lauren said softly, not sure to whom. They headed back home in the late afternoon. The sky turned fiery. The heat faded. A breeze started to blow. Lauren walked ahead, Mason behind, carrying the fishing rods. Lauren, she stopped, turned. I've been thinking. Mason started, and he seemed nervous. There's a party in town next Saturday. The feed store owner's birthday. Music, food, everyone's going. You want to go with me? Lauren felt her stomach flip. It wasn't just an invitation. It was more. I do, she answered without overthinking. Mason smiled. That rare smile that transformed his serious face into something entirely different. Then we'll go. That night, Lauren couldn't sleep right. She stared at the ceiling, thinking about the invitation, thinking about Mason, thinking about how everything had changed so fast. It had been a month since she'd met that man, just a month, but it felt like a lifetime. The following days were strange. There was a new tension in the air. When they met, their gazes lingered longer. When they touched by accident, skin burned. When they said goodbye, neither wanted to leave. On Thursday, Lauren was picking tomatoes in the garden when she heard a car. Not the BMW, which she barely drove anymore. Another car. An engine sound she didn't recognize. She stood, wiped her hands on her apron, went to the front of the house. A car pulled up. A man got out. Impeccable black suit, shining dress shoes, hair slicked with gel, expensive dark sunglasses. Lauren felt her blood run cold. Harrison. He removed the sunglasses slowly, looked at the old house, the pasture, the broken fence, then at Lauren. Up and down, the worn clothes, the dirty hands, the bare feet, the messy hair. So this is where you are, he said, his voice controlled but with anger underneath. Lauren didn't answer. Her heart pounded unevenly. Your mother's desperate, Harrison continued, approaching. Your father's ashamed, and I'm tired of this nonsense. How'd you find me? I tracked your car, he said simply. Wasn't hard. Lauren clenched her fists. I don't want you here, and I don't want to be here, believe me. Harrison looked around with disgust. This place is depressing, but I came to get you. Pack your things. We're leaving. I'm not. He stopped half a meter from her. His blue eyes, always so charming at parties, now seemed cold as ice. Lauren, stop being childish. We have a wedding scheduled, signed contracts, expectations. I didn't sign anything. Your parents did. I don't care. Harrison gritted his teeth. You're ruining your life. Look at you. You look like a farmhand. Maybe I'd rather be a farmhand than your wife. His hand rose, quick. It didn't hit, but Lauren recoiled instinctively, and that's when a voice cut through the air. Everything okay here? Mason, coming across the fence. Shirt dirty from work, face sweaty but eyes steady and stance upright. Harrison turned, sized up the approaching man. Not your business. If it's happening on my neighbor's property, it is. Harrison smiled, but without humor. Ah, so you're the reason for all this craziness. Mason stopped beside Lauren. Close enough to protect, far enough to respect. I'm not the reason for anything. She has her own reasons. And you, who are you? Harrison asked, tone condescending. The farmer? The ranch hand? The neighbor? Harrison laughed, but it was bitter. Lauren, you left everything. He pointed at Mason. To be with this? I didn't leave for anyone, Lauren replied, voice trembling but firm. I left for myself. Harrison stared at her, trying to see if she meant it. When he realized she did, he shook his head. You have a week, he said coldly. A week to come back. After that, I'll take the necessary steps. What steps? Your trust fund, the stocks, the bank accounts. Everything was structured around our marriage. If you don't come back, I'll get the lawyers involved. I'll freeze it all. You won't see a dime of what's yours. I don't care about money. You will when you don't have any. Harrison put his sunglasses back on. 1 week, Lauren. He got in the car and drove off, kicking up dust on the dirt road. Lauren stood frozen, shaking. Not from fear, from anger. You okay? Mason asked quietly. No, she answered honestly. But I will be. Who was that? Lauren looked at him, eyes watery but jaw set. My ex-fiancé. Mason blinked. Ex? Ex, she confirmed. I just hadn't had the courage to end it officially, but now I do. She went inside, grabbed the phone she kept off, turned it on, waited for it to load. Dozens of messages, ignored them all, dialed Harrison's number. He answered on the second ring. Changed your mind? No, Lauren said, voice clear. Just calling to say one thing. It's over. The engagement, the wedding, everything, over. I'm not coming back. Not today, not in a week, not ever. Take the life you planned for me and live it yourself. Because I won't. She hung up before he could respond. Her hands shook. Her heart raced. But she'd done it. Really done it. Mason was still on the porch when she came out. And now? He asked. Lauren took a deep breath, looked at the darkening sky, the stretching pasture, the simple house becoming a home. Now, she said, I live. Saturday arrived. Lauren woke nervous. Going to the party with Mason, the first time going out with him, being seen with him. It seemed silly, but it wasn't. She had no suitable clothes. Everything she'd brought was city wear, expensive, delicate, inappropriate. She searched the old house's closet and found a simple cotton dress, faded blue, that must have belonged to the former owner. She tried it on. It fit perfectly. Mason arrived at 6 in the evening. Freshly showered, beard trimmed, white button-down with sleeves rolled up, dark jeans, leather shoes. He smelled of soap and aftershave. Lauren's stomach flipped when she opened the door. You look... Mason stopped, looking at her. Beautiful. Thanks. Lauren smiled. You too. They went in Mason's old pickup truck. The town was small, 15 minutes on a dirt road. The party was in the community hall, decorated with colorful streamers, long tables, plenty of food. Smell of barbecue in the air. Country music playing. When they entered together, conversations quieted. Heads turned. Lauren felt the weight of every gaze. Mason, a gray-haired man waved. Come here, son. It was the birthday guy, Mr. Joe, owner of the feed store. Mason greeted him, introduced Lauren. This is Lauren, the new neighbor. Oh yeah. Mr. Joe shook her hand firmly. The lady from Chicago. Everyone's been curious. Everyone? Lauren repeated, uncomfortable. Small town, miss. Word travels fast, he winked. But don't worry, we welcome folks here. And they did. People were kind, curious but respectful. Asked where she was from, how long she'd stay, if she liked the country. Lauren answered honestly. Mason stayed by her side the whole time, not glued but present. Introduced friends, started conversations when she got stuck, brought food, refilled her drink when he saw it empty. You don't have to babysit me all night, Lauren said between chats. I know, Mason replied, but I want to. Her heart skipped. When the music got louder and couples started dancing, Mason extended his hand. Dance with me? Lauren looked at his hand. Large, calloused, honest. I don't know how to dance to this music. I'll teach you. She placed her hand in his. He pulled her to the makeshift dance floor, put one hand on her waist, held the other. Lauren put her free hand on his shoulder. They were close. Very close. Just follow my lead, Mason said quietly. They danced. Lauren stepped on his foot 3 times, but he just laughed. She caught the rhythm, relaxed, let him guide. The music was slow, romantic, and his body was warm against hers. Mason? Lauren said, her mouth near his ear. Yeah? Thanks. For everything. He pulled back a bit to look at her face. No need to thank me. I do. You saved me. I just fixed a motorcycle. You did a lot more than that. Their eyes met. The world faded around them. Only that moment existed, that closeness. Mason's lips were inches from hers. Lauren felt his breath change. He was going to kiss her. She knew, and she wanted it. But a voice cut the moment. "Mason Reed." A tall, pretty woman with brown hair and a ponytail approached smiling. "It's been forever." Mason released Lauren like he'd been shocked. Turned. "Doctor." "Caroline." The woman hugged him tightly. Mason returned it, but awkwardly. Lauren stood there, sidelined, feeling something odd in her chest. "You vanished," Caroline said, pulling back but keeping hands on his arms. "You don't even reply to my texts anymore." Yeah, been busy." Caroline looked at Lauren for the first time, sized her up and down. Her smile faded a bit. "And who's this?" "Lauren," Mason said. "My neighbor." "Neighbor." The word landed heavy. "Oh." Caroline smiled again, but differently. "Nice to meet you. I'm Caroline, doctor here in town, and..." She looked at Mason, his ex-girlfriend. The silence that followed was awkward. "Nice to meet you," Lauren said, forcing politeness. "Mason, come with me a sec?" Caroline asked, already pulling him by the arm. "Want you to meet a friend?" Mason looked at Lauren, hesitant. "Go," Lauren said, her voice drier than intended. "I'm fine." He went. Lauren stood in the middle of the dance floor as couples kept dancing around her. She felt foolish, exposed, out of place. She went to the table, grabbed her soda, drank it all at once. Mr. Joe approached. "Don't mind Caroline," he said quietly. "She hasn't gotten over Mason yet." "How long were they together?" "About 2 years. She wanted him to come back to the city, get a real job. He wouldn't. They broke up 6 months ago." Lauren looked where Mason was. Caroline talked, touched his arm, laughed. He looked uncomfortable but didn't leave. Lauren's chest tightened. Jealousy. It was jealousy, and she hated feeling it. She decided to step out, get some air, went to the hall door, through it, stood on the dark street breathing deeply. The stars shone bright, no light pollution to dim them. "Running away?" Caroline's voice came from behind. Lauren turned. The doctor leaned against the wall, beer in hand. "Just getting air." "I get it," Caroline sipped. "Must be tough. Small town, everyone knows everyone. You're the new face." "Yeah." "And Mason?" Caroline asked directly. "You two together?" Lauren hesitated. "We're neighbors." "That's it?" "That's it." Caroline smiled, but there was sadness in it. "I still love him, you know," she said suddenly. "I know we broke up. I know it's been months. But I love him. And if he gave me a chance, I'd go back." Without demanding anything this time. Lauren didn't know what to say. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I saw how you look at him," Caroline said seriously, "and how he looks at you. And I just wanted you to know that. He's special and deserves someone who stays, not someone who's just here for a while until they go back to real life." The words hurt more than they should have. "You don't know me," Lauren replied, voice trembling. "No, but I know city people, and I know you always go back." Caroline went back inside. Lauren stood there alone, the words echoing in her head. City people always go back. Was it true? Would she go back? And if she did, what would happen to Mason? "Lauren," his voice came soft. Mason had come out, standing 2 steps away. "Sorry, I shouldn't have left you alone." "It's okay." "It's not. I saw your face." Lauren breathed deeply. "She still loves you." "I know." "And you?" Mason stepped closer. "I respect her. She was important to me. But it's over. Not going back." "Why?" "Because I didn't feel with her what I feel when..." He stopped. Lauren held her breath. "What do you feel when what?" Mason looked deep into her eyes. "When I'm with you." The world stopped. Lauren felt every cell in her body awaken. "Mason, I know you'll leave," he continued, voice rough. "I know your life's back there. I know this is temporary. But I can't pretend I'm not feeling it." "Feeling what?" He took another step. Now they were inches apart. "That I'm falling for you." Lauren felt her eyes burn. No one had ever said it like that. Raw, honest, no frills. "I don't know if I'll leave," she whispered. "I don't know if I'll stay." she admitted. But I know that when I'm with you, I feel more like myself than anywhere else. Mason raised his hand slowly, touched her face. His thumb stroked her cheek. Lauren closed her eyes at the touch. "Can I kiss you?" he asked quietly. She opened her eyes. "Please." He leaned in. She lifted her face, and their lips met. Slowly, gently, but with an intensity that made the ground vanish beneath her feet. The kiss deepened. His hands went to her waist, pulling her closer. Her hands rose to his neck, fingers in his hair. When they parted, both breathless. "This changes everything," Lauren said. "I know," Mason agreed. And in that moment, under the starry sky of a small town in rural Kansas, neither knew everything was about to fall apart. The following days were different. Mason and Lauren didn't hide anymore. He arrived in the morning. They had coffee together on the porch. She crossed the fence in the late afternoon, helped him with the cattle. Kisses came naturally, in the middle of talks, in the middle of work, in the middle of silence. But the happiness didn't last. On Monday, Lauren tried using her card at the town general store. Declined. Tried another. Declined too. Called the bank. The account was frozen. "By court order," the representative explained. "You'll need to contact legal." Lauren hung up with shaking hands. Harrison had followed through on the threat. She returned to the farm empty-handed. Mason noticed right away something was wrong. "What happened?" "He froze everything," Lauren said, voice breaking. "My money, my accounts, all of it." "He can do that?" "Apparently." Mason clenched his fists. "Son of a—" "No," Lauren cut him off. "It won't help. He has lawyers. I have nothing. You have the farm." "Do I?" Lauren laughed without humor. "I'm not even sure about that." And she wasn't. 2 days later, a process server showed up, brought a notice. A distant cousin of Otis was contesting the will, claiming Lauren had no right to the inheritance as a great-niece, not direct heir. "Is this serious?" Mason asked, reading the paper. "Very," Lauren confirmed, pale. "If he wins, I lose the farm." "And defense?" "There is, but it needs a lawyer, and a lawyer needs money, which you don't have, which I don't have." Heavy silence. "I can lend you some," Mason offered. "No," Lauren refused firmly. "I'm not putting you in debt over my problems. It's not debt if I'm offering." "Mason, no." He didn't push. But the distance between them started there. Harrison returned on Thursday. This time not alone. He brought 2 men in suits, lawyers probably, parked in front of Lauren's house like he owned it. Mason saw from afar, dropped his tool and ran. When he arrived, Harrison was on the porch talking to Lauren. "Just sign here," he was saying, pointing to a paper. "And everything goes back to normal. Your account's unfrozen, the lawsuit dropped. You come back to Chicago, we marry as planned, and we forget this phase." "No," Lauren said. "Lauren, be reasonable." "I said no." Harrison saw Mason approaching, smiled, but it was a sneer. "Ah, the knight. Here to save the damsel?" Mason ignored him, looked only at Lauren. "You want him here?" "No." "Then leave," Mason said to Harrison, voice low but threatening. Harrison laughed. "Or what? You'll hit me? In front of witnesses?" He pointed to the lawyers. "Go ahead, try. It'll make the case so much easier." Mason gritted his teeth but didn't advance. Harrison turned back to Lauren. "Last chance. Sign or lose it all." "Then I lose it all." Harrison shook his head, pocketed the paper. "You'll regret this." He got in the car and left. Lauren sat on the porch, legs weak. Mason sat beside her. "You sure about this?" "Sure about what?" "Staying. Losing everything." Lauren looked at him. "Yes." But in the following days, Mason changed. Quieter, more distant, came less, stayed shorter. Lauren felt the shift but didn't understand. It was on a Saturday she decided to ask. "You're avoiding me." Mason didn't deny it. "Why?" He took a while to answer. They were fixing the fence again, but his hands worked mechanically without his usual focus. "Because I'm scared." "Of what?" "That you'll wake up one day and realize you gave up your whole life for a guy who has nothing to offer you." Lauren dropped the tool. "Mason, look at me." He didn't. "Mason." She touched his face, forcing it. "Look at me." He did. His eyes were watery. "I don't want to be the reason you regret it," he said quietly. "You're not the reason. You're the result. I'd already decided to change before I met you." "But what if—" "No what ifs," Lauren interrupted. "I chose to stay. I choose every day. And I choose you." Mason closed his eyes, breathing heavy. "Harrison came to see me," he confessed. Lauren froze. "When?" "Last week. Offered me money to disappear from your life. And you?" "Refused, obviously. But, Lauren, he's right about one thing. I have nothing. I can't give you the life you had. I don't want the life I had. Not now. But in a year? 2? When the novelty wears off? When you get tired of waking early, calloused hands, no money for anything?" Lauren felt tears coming. "You're giving up on me?" "No," he answered quickly. "Never. But I'm scared." "Me too," she admitted. "I'm terrified. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you." Mason pulled her in, hugged tight. Lauren clung to him like he was the last solid thing in a crumbling world. "I'm sorry," he murmured into her hair. "Don't do it again," she pleaded. "Don't pull away. We face it together." "Together," he agreed. But the relief didn't last, because the next day, when Lauren woke, there was a letter under the door. Summons for a hearing. The farm lawsuit had a date. 3 weeks. And she had no lawyer, no money. Nothing but a property she might lose and a man she loved but who was scared of losing too. Lauren sat on the living room floor, hugged her knees, and for the first time since arriving, cried. She cried for everything she'd left, for everything she was losing, for everything she feared she'd never have. Mason found her like that half an hour later. Didn't ask anything. Just sat beside her, pulled her into his lap and let her cry until there were no tears left. "We'll figure it out," he said when she calmed. "How?" "Don't know yet. But we will." Lauren wanted to believe, but for the first time she wasn't sure of anything. Word of Lauren's situation spread through town. Small town. Everyone hears everything. And to her surprise, people started showing up. Mr. Joe was first. Arrived with a basket of groceries. "I know it's tough," he said simply. "This'll help for now." Mrs. Mary, who ran the bakery, brought fresh bread every day for a week. "No refusals," she said when Lauren tried to decline. The rural school teacher offered contact for a lawyer friend who could cut a deal. The community rallied. They held a raffle, then an early fall festival, then a yard sale. Raised money. It wasn't a lot, but it was something. It was hope in coins and crumpled bills. Lauren couldn't believe it. "Why are you doing this?" she asked Mr. Joe. "Because you're one of us now," he replied. "And we take care of our own." Mason stayed by her side through it all. Helped organize events, talked to the lawyer, reviewed papers. The insecurity had passed. Now it was just determination. "We'll win this," he said every night before leaving. But Lauren saw the worry in his eyes. 2 weeks before the hearing, a car pulled up in front of the house. Not Harrison. An elegant woman, gray hair in a perfect bun, expensive but understated clothes. Lauren recognized her before she even got out. Her mother. Her heart raced. Lauren didn't know whether to run and hug or hide. She stood on the porch, hands dirty from the garden. Her mother approached slowly, stopped at the first step, looked at her daughter up and down. The worn clothes, bare feet, calloused hands, hair tied with an old elastic. "Mom," Lauren said, voice trembling. "Lauren," her mother replied, and there was something different in her voice. Something softer. Silence. "Can I come in?" Lauren nodded yes. They entered. The house was simple but clean. Old furniture but organized. Smell of coffee and wildflowers in an improvised jar. Her mother sat at the kitchen chair. Lauren made coffee, served it in mismatched mugs. They sat facing each other. "Your father doesn't know I came," her mother started. "Why did you come?" "Because I needed to see for myself." "See what?" "If you were okay. If what Harrison said was true. That you'd lost your mind, living in deplorable conditions, being manipulated." Lauren laughed without humor. "And what did you see?" Her mother took a while to answer, sipped the coffee. "I saw my daughter," she said softly. "For the first time in years, I saw the real you." Lauren felt her eyes burn. "I spent your whole life shaping you," her mother continued, voice breaking. "Teaching you to walk right, talk right, smile right. Preparing you to be the wife of someone important, mother of heirs, hostess of dinners. And never, not once, did I ask what you wanted to be." Lauren's tears fell. "Mom, I'm sorry," her mother said, crying now too. "Sorry for never listening to you. For pushing Harrison. For making you feel you had no choice. You didn't know." "I did," her mother interrupted. "I saw your unhappiness, saw it and ignored it. Because it was easier to ignore than face that I was wrong." Lauren stood, went around the table, hugged her mother, and the two cried there, holding each other, releasing years of unsaid words. When they parted, they wiped their faces. "I came to bring you something," her mother said, opening her purse. Pulled out an envelope. "Copies of documents, the original will, letters from your great-uncle, proof the inheritance is legitimate, and my sworn statement confirming it all." Lauren took the envelope with trembling hands. "You'll testify for me?" "I will. And I'll testify against Harrison if needed. He had no right to freeze your funds. It was abuse of power using his father's bank connections. Dad know about this?" "Not yet. But he will." Lauren hugged her mother again. "Thank you. No need. It's the least I can do." Her mother stayed another hour. Saw the garden, the chickens Lauren had started raising. Walked the pasture, and when Mason appeared, sweaty from work, she was introduced. "So you're Mason," her mother said, appraising. "Yes, ma'am," he replied, polite but firm. "You love my daughter?" The question surprised them both. Mason didn't hesitate. "I do. And you'll take care of her?" "I will. But she doesn't need anyone to take care of her. She's strong on her own." Her mother smiled. "Good answer." Before leaving, she hugged Lauren once more. "Your father will take time to accept," she warned. "But he will, I promise." "And you? Do you accept?" Her mother looked at the farm, the simple house, the stretching pasture. Then at her daughter, eyes clear and happy like they hadn't been in years. "I do," she said. "I finally do." The day of the hearing arrived. Lauren wore the only semi-formal outfit she had. A simple dress her mother had left. Mason put on a button-down shirt and slacks he hadn't worn in years. The lawyer the community had helped pay for was young but sharp. They reviewed everything on the way. The courthouse room was small, stuffy. The contesting cousin was there with his lawyer. Harrison showed up too, sitting in the back, watching. The judge entered. The hearing began. The cousin's lawyer argued Lauren had no direct tie. The will was vague. Others had stronger claim. Lauren's lawyer presented the documents. The great-uncle's letters talking about the great-niece he adored, his clear last wishes. And Lauren's mother took the stand. "My uncle was clear," she testified. "He wanted Lauren to have the farm. She was the only one who visited him in his last years. She was like a granddaughter to him." The judge heard everything, asked questions, reviewed documents. "Considering the evidence," he said finally, "and the principle of the property's social function, as Ms. Lauren Hayes already resides and works the land, I uphold the original will. The farm is hers." Lauren felt her legs buckle. Mason steadied her arm, firm. They'd won. Outside, the cousin grumbled but left. Harrison approached one last time. "You made a bad choice," he said to Lauren. "No," she replied, looking at Mason. "I made the right one." Harrison left without looking back. Her mother hugged Lauren at the courthouse door. "I'm proud of you," she said. "Thanks for everything. I'll be back next week. Want to help fix up the house?" "Really? Really? But I don't know how to do anything." "I'll teach you," Lauren smiled. Her mother smiled back. Mason and Lauren returned to the farm hand in hand. The sun set, painting everything gold. When they arrived, they sat on the porch, in silence, just feeling. "It's over," Lauren said. "It's over," Mason agreed. She leaned her head on his shoulder. "And now?" "Now we live," he answered. For real. The following months were the best of Lauren's life. The farm thrived. The garden grew abundant. The chickens laid eggs every day. She and Mason worked side by side, building something real, something theirs. Her mother returned, as promised, brought tools, hired a local handyman, helped renovate the house. The two spent whole afternoons painting walls, picking colors, laughing at silly jokes. It was the relationship they'd never had. Her father showed up a month later, didn't apologize in words but brought fruit tree saplings and helped Mason plant them. The two men worked in silence, sweaty, digging holes in the dirt. At day's end, her father extended a hand. Mason shook it. It was sealed. Lauren started selling garden produce at the town market. Tomatoes, lettuce, kale, fresh eggs. The money wasn't much, but it was honest. It was hers, earned with her own hands. Mason expanded the herd, bought a few more cows, fixed the barn, repaired the old windmill at the back of the property. He had plans. They had plans. Nights were spent on the porch, stargazing, making future plans. They wanted to officially merge the two properties, start a co-op with neighbors, teach sustainable farming techniques, leave a legacy. "We could have some kids too," Mason said one night, a bit shy. Lauren smiled in the dark. "We could. You want to?" "I do," she answered. "But not yet. In a bit. When we're more settled." Makes sense. They didn't know fate had other plans. It was on a Sunday morning that Lauren realized. Woke up queasy. Ran to the bathroom. Threw up. Thought it was something she'd eaten. But it happened again the next day. And the one after. And after. It took a week for her to consider the possibility. Bought a test at the town pharmacy, hidden in her bag like contraband. Did it at home, alone, hands shaking. 2 lines. Positive. Lauren sat on the bathroom floor staring at the test. Pregnant. She was pregnant. The first feeling was panic. They hadn't planned it. Not the right time. They were still building everything. But then slowly, panic gave way to something else. Joy. Deep. Scary. But real. She was pregnant with Mason's child. She kept the test, said nothing, wanted to be sure. Went to the town doctor, coincidentally Caroline. The visit was awkward, but Caroline was professional. 8 weeks, she confirmed after the exam. Congratulations. Thanks, Lauren said, still processing. Does he know? Not yet. Caroline smiled, and this time it was genuine. He'll be a great dad. He will, Lauren agreed. And you, Caroline added, will be a great mom, even if you weren't born for it. The two looked at each other. A silent understanding passed between them. Sorry, Caroline said, for what I said at that party. I was wrong. You didn't go back, and he's happy with you. It's obvious. Thanks, Lauren replied sincerely. Lauren waited for the right moment to tell. Made Mason's favorite dinner. Set the table with wildflowers. Lit candles. When he arrived, sweaty from work, he was puzzled. What's going on? Nothing, Lauren smiled. Just wanted to do something special. They ate, talked, laughed, and when finished, Lauren took his hand across the table. Mason, I need to tell you something. His face turned serious immediately. What is it? Everything okay? Everything's great, she assured. It's just, we're gonna need to finish that extra room faster than we thought. Mason frowned. Why? Lauren placed his hand on her belly. Because in 7 months, there'll be one more person living here. It took him 3 seconds to get it. When he did, his eyes widened. We're having a baby, Lauren finished, eyes tearing up. We're having a baby. Mason stood so fast he knocked over the chair, pulled Lauren up, hugged her tight, spun her in the air. We're gonna be parents, he shouted, laughing and crying at once. We are, Lauren laughed too, clinging to him. When he set her down, he held her face in both hands. Marry me, he said suddenly. What? Marry me. Now. Not in a bit. Not when everything's perfect. Now. I want you to be my wife. I want this baby born with us married. I want to wake up every day knowing you're my real family. Lauren cried so hard she could barely speak. Yes, she managed. Yes, I'll marry you. Mason kissed her. long, deep, desperate. When they parted, he pressed his forehead to hers. "I love you," he said. "I love you too." They married 3 weeks later. Simple town hall ceremony. Witnesses were Mr. Joe and Mrs. Mary. Lauren's mother was there, crying with joy. Her father too, awkward but present. Caroline showed up, wished them sincere happiness. Lauren wore a simple white dress bought at the local shop. Mason, a rented navy suit. No big party luxury fanfare, just love. When the judge said, "You may kiss," Mason pulled her in and kissed her amid applause and cheers from those present. And Lauren felt she was exactly where she belonged. The pregnancy months flew by. Her belly grew. Mason was glued to her, talking to the baby, singing off-key songs, making eternal love promises. They renovated the room, painted it soft yellow, assembled the crib her father gifted, bought tiny clothes at the town store, prepared. Lauren gave birth on a rainy March dawn. Long, painful labor, but Mason was there the whole time, holding her hand, wiping sweat, repeating she was strong, she'd make it. And when the cry echoed through the room, when the nurse placed that wet, red little bundle in Lauren's arms, the whole world stopped. "It's a girl," the nurse announced. A girl. They had a daughter. "Hi, little one," Lauren whispered, tears falling on the baby's face. "I'm your mom." Mason cried too, standing by the bed looking at the 2 women in his life. "She's perfect," he said, voice thick. "You both are perfect." They named her Clara. Clara Reed Hayes. Simple name, strong, like her. 6 months later, on a warm September afternoon, Lauren sat on the porch. Clara slept in her lap, tiny, sweet-smelling, perfect. Mason fixed the pasture fence. The garden grew green. The chickens scratched in the yard. Life happened, simple and beautiful. Her mother had gone back to Chicago but called every day, planned the next visit. Her father sent money to help with baby expenses, his way of showing affection. Harrison had vanished completely, married another heiress, living the superficial life he'd always known. And Lauren? Lauren woke every day before the sun, lit the fire, made coffee, cared for her daughter, worked the land, laughed with her husband, went to bed early and exhausted. It was the hardest life she'd ever had. And the happiest too. Mason climbed to the porch, sweaty, tired, handsome, sat beside her, draped an arm over her shoulders. They looked together at their sleeping daughter. "Thanks," Lauren said softly so as not to wake Clara. "For what?" "For helping me find myself." Mason kissed her forehead. "You just needed quiet, I was just here." "You were a lot more than that." Lauren smiled. "You were everything I didn't know I needed." "And you," he replied, "were everything I'd given up looking for." The sun set on the horizon, painting the sky orange and pink. The farm stretched before them, built with work, love, and faith. Clara sighed in her sleep. Her tiny fist closed against her mother's chest. And on that piece of land in rural Kansas, far from luxury, far from appearances, far from everything once thought important, Lauren Hayes was finally who she was always meant to be. She was simply herself, and it was more than enough.